Hey, my name is Brian Fanny, and for my project, I sought to scrape the DPS the Daily Blotter. And to do that initially was pretty simple. Basically, I just imported the HTML, used that command, typed in the URL, said it was a table, and it was the second table on the page. So, I mean, that was an easy way to get a little bit of information, but I really wanted to dive deeper. So what I did is I have in the spreadsheet I have an original, which grabbed the basic text from the web page and format it, and I ran a few commands to make this information a little bit more useful. So the first thing I did was I grabbed the dates from the original data. So in the original data, they have the date and the time in one cell, and that wasn't too useful. So I had it grab everything in that particular cell except for the last four characters, and then I trimmed it so it was just no white spaces at either end. So it was just that the day there, because that would be everything except for those last 4 or 5 characters. And then I had Google Spreadsheets recognize it as a date. So that's this text function, and that's what the MMM. That's the first three letters of the date. The period is the period, and the day is the day there. I did a similar thing for the time. I grabbed, let's see. Okay, so from the bottom half here, I grabbed these two characters and then these two characters, and I concatenated them with a colon, in the middle, and I converted that. Also, use this text function to get Google Spreadsheets to recognize it as a time. So you see the time now, and I went through a similar process for these two columns here. The next thing I did was I changed this all caps here to proper case, and then when most of the columns here said UNC at the end, and that wasn't something that I really wanted, so I ran an if statement so that if the last 3 characters were UNC, it just threw those out. I ran a proper function here to change the description from all caps. And the next thing I did was I really wanted to geocode this data and put it on a map, but I didn't want to have to type in an address because Google Maps kind of fails at recognizing the addresses of college buildings correctly because they're not all on the street. So what I did was I made an if function that has the building name, and then it has a GPS coordinate for the location. So basically what I did was if something was at Granville Towers East, and a lot of things are at Granville Towers East incidentally, I went to Google Earth. I found Granville Towers East, and I was able to look up the coordinates using this function here. So 35, those I would copy and paste those into this if statement here. And so whenever it sees Granville Towers East here, it instead puts in this coordinate for a location. So I did that for all the buildings for the month of February, which is useful because I can export it to Google Fusion tables. It'll pick it right up and make it into a map. Sort of a similar process here. So the original file has case status and disposition. Each of these numbers means a different thing, and that key is on the Blotter website. So the case status code is here, disposition codes are here. So I did a similar process. I had a bunch of if statements for both of those. So instead of just saying a number, it now is a little bit more descriptive and informative. So that's what you see over here. So I played with trying to get this data to automatically update into Google Fusion tables, and unfortunately there isn't an easy way to do that. Someone wrote a script a few years ago to get that to work, and I tried the script, but unfortunately I get an error every time, and Googling around, it looks like a lot of other people do too. So there's something broken there. However, I did put all the February complaints manually into a Fusion table and mapped it, and I threw that on the DTH site. So if you're looking for crimes that occurred for the month of February, I do have those up and nicely formatted in a Fusion table under daily target /page/data, and I'm trying to build up a little bit more data on this site, and this is a good first step. And I included here a link that has all of those February Police Blotter incidents. So anyway, it was pretty easy data to scrape, but it took a lot of time to figure out how to make it usable and sortable, and to come up with a more automated process to put it in Fusion tables. So yeah.